Hey, look, it's Planet Hex review time. I'm Andrew Horn. These are the mini episodes that I put out in the week where I review something that I've just discovered or something that I've rediscovered, where I check out if it still holds up well. Tonight I'm going to talk about this movie here, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage as Nic Cage, along with Pedro Pascal and Tiffany Haddish and a lot of other people that are really, really talented. I had put off seeing this for a little while because there's been a lot of hype about this movie. It has been talked about a lot, and hype kind of works against me. It kind of puts me off something, but it came up on Prime, so I thought, okay, I'll give this a go. I'm really glad I did. This was really, really entertaining. As action comedies go, it was really entertaining. So the setup is basically Nicolas Cage needs some decent parts, and a chance comes up for him to do an appearance on a remote island. I think it's in Mallorca, actually. It's not that remote. And turns out the guy that set this up, played by Pedro Pascal, is like a Nic Cage super fan. Now, for the British viewers amongst you, this brought to mind Alan Partridge's super fan. I'm just a fan, Alan, your biggest fan. It gets a bit like that. So he has a museum of Nic Cage memorabilia and actual props and costumes from the movies and things like that. Along the way, Nic Cage finds himself wound up in an ongoing case being investigated by the CIA, where he needs to help out in the rescue of a kidnapped young girl, and thus the action adventure element of it kicks in. This is a really fun movie. The first two acts are perfect. They are quirky. You've got Nicolas Cage's younger self acting as his internal monologue, with all the craziness that goes with Nic Cage being Nic Cage. You've got Nic Cage pastiching himself, as well as putting in a performance that is nuanced and impressive, despite all the comedy and the abject silliness of the entire film. There's a lot to appreciate here. It is really well made and really well shot, and I thought it was a really interesting thing. I did particularly like Pedro Pascal, of course, from The Mandalorian and Last of Us and things like that now. But I think he has a very speaking face, and of course, yes, the scene where all the memes have come from lately, with Pedro Pascal going like that and Nic Cage going like this. The setup for that is really funny. I didn't expect that to make me laugh as much as it did, but I thought that was hilarious. So it is very meta. It is very self-referential, and it's very postmodern, but it is a good movie. It's a fun film. It offers a great deal of entertainment. There's laughs, there's excitement, there's action scenes, there's some tension where you don't know whether or not Nick and the other guys are going to get out of there alive. The stakes are raised, and it is a satisfying watch. It's a little bit too long. Could do with about 10 minutes shaving off for me, but that's me. I like short movies. And it is ultimately a very, very good film, and I hugely recommend it. I get the hype now, so I'm sorry I slept on seeing this. This is a really good movie, and I really, really enjoyed it. The only drawback with it would be, it's not really a drawback, but there is sort of a gear shift towards the end of the movie. When it goes into the third act, it does become more of a standard action-adventure movie. But then, as the third act draws to a close, we're back in there in the very meta, self-referential sort of take on Nick's reality. Ultimately, it is a really satisfying film, and I do really, really recommend anyone checks it out. It's currently showing on Prime, so if you have Prime, it's free to watch on there. If you've got Prime already, do check it out. I really, really recommend it. So that's my little thing about The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage as Nic Cage. I really liked it. Do give it a shot. Thank you for watching this episode of Planet Hex Review Time. Please do like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I do these in the week, and then at the weekend I put out a full-length version of Planet Hex, where I cover searching for old movies on eBay or Amazon or Facebook Marketplace, or action figures, or I go around cool places, or I just cover, the nerd life, because that's what I'm into. By the way, VHS's Happiness shirt, none other than Lunchmeat, famous lunch meat VHS. So 80s Video Shop, that you know I love, have collaborated with Lunch Meat over in the state, hey Josh, to bring the iconic VHS's Happiness shirt to the UK, and I couldn't be happier, so of course I had to get one of those. But that's a story for another day. More on that another time. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Planet Hex Review Time.